So now we're on our way to Bianfudong. Now Bianfudong is, so this whole area is the Qi Shan area. Bianfudong is one of the higher points, and it's definitely, it's where the what is it called? The folklore of Gua Pian comes from. It's usually very, very mythical. And over here in front of me, this is, I call her Salzi. Today, not only we're going to Bianfudong, but we're going to pick wild teas along the way. So I was worried that we're going to get lost. So we're going there together with a little guide, with some guidance from Salzi. See all the stone here. It's like all the stone here are really, really loose. Like, see, it's so soft. Rotten stone. This is the best kind of condition for tea. 烂石. It's good. The tea grows on this. This is really good tea. So that's a, see, this is a wild tea right here.
可以的，他们吃这个吗？
是啊，这个只掰这片叶子是吧？
啊，对，这一片大的叶子。
掰一片大的叶子。对，这一片也可以。
不要把头拆了。
这片可以，这个不可以了是吧？啊，不要把它 stuck here is I'm just gonna slide. Oh my god! Oh my god! I'm gonna pull it out. Oh shit! Ow! So this tea tree here is really giant for a small leaf variety. I think this might be the biggest I've seen in this area. See the roots? 能看到根吗？ See the roots? Remember, these are branches, and yet it's almost the size. It's like a 2/3 of my wrist. It's of my wrist. It's really it has a pretty solid trunk actually. I think this tree probably is gonna be over 100-year-old because it has a really, really solid trunk, and it's quite rare for a small leaf variety. Let's see how it tastes. It's really bitter. Yeah, but the wild tea, every single bush is different. There's no two wild tea trees that are the same. The edge of the tea tree is like the tea tree's fingerprint. It really, so even if it's the same bush, it might, each strain, each branch is actually come from a different seed. So it might be different trees. And, you know, it's just small leaf variety, too bad that it's, you know, the production is so low. Like the yield that each tea tree gives is so low. So, you won't be able to make a single batch of tea from just a single tree. Once in a while it happens, but it's very rare. For the big tree leaf variety, like for a pu'er, sometimes it's possible. However, you know, sometimes I really want to try, be able to, but that's why I chew on the raw leaves. So it gives you, it's like my only opportunity to actually taste the characteristic of each one. 这山顶哈，我看一下方向。I want to see the direction. Here's a little nerdy knowledge about tea. So the direction, so let's see. So over here, this direction is northwest. This is not considered a desirable location direction for tea. It receives too little sunlight and it's on top of the mountain. This direction, however, on the other side, this is considered a better direction. It's southwest. Oh, sorry, southeast. 东南方向. It's good. And then this one is we're walking towards northeast direction. So for tea, first of all, tea in Chinese we say it loves yin, does not love yang. So tea needs to grow at a little humid but like dim place. It needs to have enough sunlight but not direct sunlight. Dispersed sunlight is the most preferred. And oh, I can see the tea trees now. Look, it's they have everything lined up. Interesting. 这些都是后来种的吧，嫂子。This is not the local varietal. People try to get their tea as close to the 蝙蝠洞 as possible. Oh, people picking tea. And then see, that's the bat cave. That's what we're looking for. 蝙蝠洞. There's a good legend of folklore around how tea trees here come about from over there. There's supposed to be a tiny cave, so the bat cave. So this is supposed to be the best view of the bat cave. Once we get on there, it's gonna get tinier. So, but we're gonna keep going. Okay. 泉水还现在长得满山遍野都是了，是吧？
但是那一棵神它采了又长的那一棵就没了。
就没了。So every tea region in China has some kind of folklore or legend about how people first discovered tea in the region. And apparently over here, some time ago, so there's always once upon a time, we do not know exactly how long ago, that the people came here, like somebody came to the mountain and discovered a tea tree. 是个男的还是个女的采茶呀？女的. So I was asking if it's a he or she, because in Chinese the pronunciation both are ta. And then so she was picking the tea, but she couldn't exhaust the tea tree, so she was picking one side of the tea. As this side of the tea gets picked, the other side is growing, and as she goes back to the other side to pick the tea, then the original side, the tea starts to bud again. So she was very amazed by the tea tree, so because she wants to come back the next day to continue to pick the tea. So she took off her clothes and then covered the tree so she knows that that's the exact spot. However, the next day when she came back to the mountain, she only discovered her clothes but without the tea tree. However, from that point on, all the mountains start to have all the tea trees, and so people saying that that's the divine tea tree. So they call the original tea tree the divine tea tree, and so basically these are all the little descendants or the little buds of the divine tea tree that grows on the top of the mountain here. And 为什么蝙蝠洞的这边的茶是就是最好呢？大家认为？
因为在这山上这种石头的石头缝里长的有蝙蝠嘛。蝙蝠好像就讲了一个日子，就像有蝙蝠这个粪便。
蝙蝠粪便好。
这种感觉。
So the reason that people were saying that the bat cave tea is better here is because, of course, the terrain is very rocky. Tea is always preferred the rocky terrain, and people saying that back then when there were actually bats here, the bats poops, so the bat shit is great fertilizer for the tea trees. Those are what made the tea trees taste extra good. However, I don't think there's still bats in here, but that's how the name of bat cave, the teas from here became so famous originally. I want to say that the reason that Gua Pian is so unique, the picking, is definitely one of the major things. So for all the other teas, this is what you pick. For pu'er, this is what you pick. For a lot of green tea and red tea, this is what you pick. Right? So you have a bud and a leaf, or you have 2 leaves and a bud. However, Gua Pian, you want to pick only the leaf, no stamp at all. This is the only tea in China that has no stamp, has only the leaf, and actually even this little stamp end, you want to take it off. So this is Gua Pian. Yeah. So from the picking, it starts to make this tea very, very unique. Also, for Gua Pian, see, because right now what we're picking is we're actually picking the third, depends on how well the leaves has opened up, the third or the fourth leaf, right, on a tea. And if we wait for a little longer, eventually the top bud is going to open up, and this is going to give you the best leaf. So Gua Pian is also unique in that the third rounds of tea picking actually gives you the best teas. So over here we have a grove of the sometimes the locals call it the red tea because you can see the color of the tea leaves is very, very different. 没关系，这个先别采，我们拍这个。哎，先别采，等一下采这个啊。然后 and sometimes people also call it the purple bud. Now the purple bud is has received lots and lots of market attention in lately. Many people sell this saying that this is a rare tea kind of tea. It's very expensive. It only grows at certain locations. But the truth is, it's really just mutant tea. We see this throughout all tea regions. In a lot of the old Chinese tea books, it's usually said that these leaves are not preferred and you should not pick these tea. However, nowadays people sell these especially for very big prices. There are lots of tombs right in the middle of the tea field, and I asked them if they are actually afraid of them, and the answer is no. And the reason is no, not only because they think it's very natural, but also because they said after the people die here, they need to send them to spider. They need to send have somebody take a look to see which direction the person should be buried in, because it's already been looked at. So once the person is buried somewhere, they know it's a good, comfortable location for the person, so they are no longer scared of the dead person. Last year, when I was picking tea over here, because it's so slippery, I actually fell into one of those. I fell in, I think, a couple times. The first time I totally freaked out. I was like, ah! And then the second time, I was more calm. I was like, okay, it's a tomb, it's a dead person underneath it. But that's it. I'm okay. So the walk on the right is the step is called kill grain, or called shaqi in Chinese. It's basically to kill all the enzymes in the tea. The temperature is usually in the higher 100 degrees Celsius or close to 200 or even higher than 200 degrees Celsius. And now on the left walk, what we're doing now is the temperature is much lower, and he's basically trying to make the tea into a certain shape. And in this region, the shape, remember, Gua Pian. Gua Pian means melon seed in Chinese, and the melon seed is actually it means sunflower seed in Chinese. And so he's trying to make sort of like a straight but tiny shape, so like a sunflower seed. So the name of the tea, which is called Gua Pian, in Chinese, Gua Pian can mean so many things, right? It can mean melon seed, it can mean pumpkin seed, it can mean sunflower seed. So I was asking them exactly which seed it was referring to, and they said they do not know either. You had to use your imagination, but they're referring to the raw shape of the tea leaves. It's not talking about the cooked shape of the leaves. So now let's take a look at behind the scene. When he was calling like big fire, small fire, more heat, he's referring to the ladies behind the scene. 哎，你不用站起来，你该怎么烧怎么烧你的。So it's really really hot. 不用起来，您坐这儿啊。So it's really really hot. So over here to the left, this is the big fire. This is the kill grain walk. It's really really hot right now. My face is burning and it's kind of smoky, but overall, the smoke is contained. Now the third step is to bake the tea. So you really need to put your hand on the tea leaves to feel the fire. There's a charcoal bin underneath. 你在家看着 She's adding charcoal to the tea. And so in this region, what they do is basically they want to swirl to make sure that all the tea fall down. You want to give it a good tap, and then you flip the tea up. So this is actually a step that we do after the tea is all baked. You see, it's all the little bits of the tea basically. Through him shaking the tea in a certain pattern, all the little bits come out. And this is a very tricky but convenient technique to pick the unsatisfying tea leaves out. Because if you do not do that, you then need to pick every single one piece by piece. Yeah. See, and then all the lighter ones, it just kind of gets to the front, and then he can throw it out. It's really amazing. It's definitely not as easy as it looks.
你旧的后面还把人抹掉了。
Oh, yeah. And I need to make sure the tea does not fall from behind. Oops. Every time I do this, tea keeps falling off, like all the good leaves. 我这个是为什么就剥不起来呢？ It's like. So what we're doing now is actually the step called lacquer. This is a very Asian technique. Now, you can see it takes two people to do this. And constantly flipping the tea because the tea, it takes really just a millisecond for the tea to get burned. The reason that they actually put a piece of cloth on top of the tray is to make sure that the dust of the cloth does not fall underneath the on the charcoal bowl. 我刚才好像有那么点意思了哈，没撞到你的手。
现在有点像。
哎。这个怪不得你们弄的时候都不怎么说话呢，这很累。对，一面那个一面说话。It's definitely very physically demanding, that's for sure. And the tea dust that gets into my mouth, gets into my hair. You can see my hand are already a little dirty and very very rough. It actually hurts, even though I was told obviously my hands are not worked well as their hands, and also like I flip the tea a little too slow. That's also what makes it a little not as tender on my as gentle on my hand as well. So it actually really really hurts, and you can see I'm already sweating. I'm sweating. It's and I think我头上是不是有长毛啊？有长毛吗？我身上。I feel like the tea hair keeps getting onto my face, and which like really blocks my sinus as well. So organic tea is like organic wine. I'm not saying that. I know organic is such a big concept for a lot of food products, for our everyday living, clothing and stuff. But at the same time, when we see the mountain tea, organic is it's assumed basically. It's almost like the #1 criteria. It's very important to maintain the ideal ecology of the natural environment of the teas. However, the spider web there. However, these teas, even though they're organic, but they're not clean, and they do not have the ideal terroir for tea. They do not have the ideal geology for tea. They do not have the right climate for tea. They certainly other than using the approved fertilizer and not using pesticides, using these flappers, there's nothing else about these tea that makes them awesome. It's tea is not rice. Tea is tea. It's something that we enjoy. We're looking for some very very particular taste, and these tea do not have that taste.